Good evening, you're watching Mission 2024. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Let me quickly take you through the headlines. Gory details emerge in the murder in Mumbai. Eyewitness saw 3 buckets full of body parts. 52-year-old Manoj boiled body parts of live-in partner. Ghaziabad online conversion racket gets murkier. Minors show Zakir Naik videos to radicalize. Sensational chats emerge. Jaishankar lashes out, says India cannot understand why Canada gives space to separatists and extremists. Congress condemns Indira Gandhi assassination tableau in Canada. China sets military infra across Uttarakhand. Super-fast infra build-up by China again after Ladakh and Arunachal. Is Uttarakhand next? Air India to refund all passengers after Delhi-San Francisco flight was diverted to Russia. Passengers were stranded for 56 hours after a technical issue in one of the engines. The man behind worldwide raid chat GPT and CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, meets Prime Minister Modi. All right, let's quickly take you to the latest video that is coming in from the French town of Annecy, which has sent shockwaves across the world. The man attacked... The man on your television screen, a Syrian refugee, attacked children between the age of 3 and 5, stabbing them, knifing them. At least 8 minors have been injured in this horrific attack. Reports suggest that the terror attack suspect has been confirmed to be an illegal asylum seeker from Syria. The attacker was a Syrian national with legal refugee status in France. The man has been nabbed and taken into custody. Witnesses have said that the stabber jumped into the playground, started shouting, and then went towards the strollers, which you can see on your television screen. These visuals are triggering, shocking visuals coming in. Repeatedly, you can see this man attacking the young children with a knife. The French Prime Minister is scheduled to visit the scene of stabbing attack. I want to cut across right now immediately to my colleague Shiv Arur, who's going to be taking us through the visuals. You know, Shiv, as much triggering these visuals are, but questions once again will be raised in France and other neighboring countries where it comes down to the entire migrant crisis.
Absolutely correct, Preeti. A very, very troubling video of, a man, appearing to target only children. There are multiple clips doing the rounds in the French media at this point of time. It looks like there were onlookers who were able to capture it, but like you rightly said, 7 children are injured. 4 of them apparently critical. They are in a hospital in Annecy in France, which is part of the French Alps. The culprit, this Syrian immigrant, has also apparently been arrested. He's not injured. They were able to take him alive. You're right. He's a Syrian immigrant. There is information in the French media to suggest that he actually got refugee status in Sweden, but he's been an asylum seeker in France as well. This is going to go down in a very bad way, Preeti, because like you rightly said, within French politics as well, you've got French politicians, including their prime minister, and other senior leaders who are going to be heading to Annecy as we speak. There was a moment of silence inside the French parliament a little while ago. This kind of thing, apart from the immediate repercussions it has for France, France and Germany have had a reputation for being soft on migrants, allowing a great deal of migration from West Asia, particularly from Syria, which has been war torn for a very long time. all of these things are going to become part of politics, if not already, Preeti. Remember, the migrant crisis has always gone beyond just France and Germany, but these two countries specifically, their open door policy as far as migrants has been the subject of a great deal of politics. Elections have been won and lost on this issue in France as well as Germany in the last couple of cycles. And I can tell you that the fact that this has happened in Annecy, which is a very popular, alpine town in southeastern France, famous for its tourism, millions of people go there every year. That has its own economic, messaging and economic impact. But this is going to become a huge talking point. It's going to empower those who are anti-migrant in French politics and European politics, actually. And this is going to become a big metaphor for that going forward as well.
Appreciate you joining us, Shiv, and talking us through these visuals. Shiv is right there. This will raise skepticism where it comes down to voices which are very, very strong, both anti and pro the migrant crisis, especially in France. We've seen the politics play out very, very radically where it comes down to opinion on either sides of the divide. And a video like this will only help one side bolster their claim. And, if you look at it, these are horrific, horrific visuals. We're going to let it be. We're going to quickly shift focus to the big political story that is developing, that we're tracking closely, and it comes in on the big meeting in Patna of the possible Gathbandhan 2024. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will attend the mega meet to be hosted by Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and his deputy Tejaswi. This meeting is scheduled for the 23rd of June, as I pointed out. The Bihar Deputy CM Tejaswi Yadav said the meeting is of great significance in view of the 2024 battle, adding that every big movement like the JP Andolan began in Bihar. Tejaswi also said that party heads, not representatives, will attend the huddle. That would mean you would see Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge, with him will be Rahul Gandhi. You'd see TMC chief Mamta Banerjee, not a representative of TMC. The left front Delhi chief minister Arvind Kejriwal, NCP chief Sharad Pawar, MK Stalin, are some of the leaders that would be in attendance. Practically every opposition leader will be there on the 23rd of June, save at least what we're given to understand till now. The BRS KCR has not confirmed, neither has BJD. BJD has actually refused. They will not be attending the meeting. But till now, where KCR is confirmed, they are concerned, there's no refusal yet. But, one would... it would remain to be seen, because if there are only going to be leaders and not representatives, who will be the leader of the leaders? That would be interesting to watch. Listen into the reactions coming in.
देश के लिए ऐतिहासिक होगा और एक अहम बैठक है। बहुत अरसों बाद जो सभी रीजनल्स पार्टी ऑपोजिशन की कांग्रेस के साथ लोग बैठेंगे और 2024 को लेकर के चर्चा करेंगे कि हम लोगों को आगे कैसे बढ़ना है।
तो 23 को नीतीश कुमार मुख्यमंत्री हैं, उनका दावत आई थी, उनका फ़ोन था और उन्होंने कुछ देश के अपोजिशन के लीडर लोगों को निमंत्रित किया है। मैं जानने वाला हूँ, एक नेशनल इश्यूज पर मिलकर काम करने की जो आवश्यकता है वो मद्देनज़र रखते हुए उन्होंने ये निमंत्रण दिया है और उनको सहयोग देना हम लोगों का फर्ज है।
लोकसभा का चुनाव विपक्षी एकता की बात हो रही, कल अरविंद केजरीवाल जी भी आपसे मिलने आ रहे हैं, पंजाब के सीएम भी आ रहे हैं, इस पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
तो अभी ये पता नहीं है कि किन बिंदुओं पर चर्चा होगी। 12 तारीख का कार्यक्रम स्थगित हुआ है। जब कभी 12 के बाद कार्यक्रम होगा मैं जाऊंगा बिहार, और इस कार्यक्रम में क्या रूपरेखा होगी या क्या बातचीत होगी ये कह पाना मुश्किल है। लेकिन जो दिखाई दे रहा है, दिल्ली की सरकार अधिकारों को छीन रही है। अगर किसी चुनी हुई सरकार के अधिकार छीने जाएंगे तो उस पे तो विपक्ष को एक होना पड़ेगा।
जो एक दूसरे में सहारा ढूंढ रहे हैं, जो खुद अपने पैरों पर खड़े होने के लिए विफल हैं, वो जहां एकत्रित होने वाले हैं यतीन जी, वहीं पर तो 1750 करोड़ का एक पूरा का पूरा ढांचा पानी में बह गया। उनके अरमान भी 2024 में इसी प्रकार से बह जाएंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है।
I want to cut across right now to our National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastav, who's joining us. Rahul, where the opposition is concerned, 23rd of June is now or never if it comes to 24th hustings. Having said that, no representatives all will be party leaders. Who's going to be the leader amongst the leader? That's the big question.
Preeti, yes, you're very right that this meeting in terms of unity photo op has tremendous value because top leaders, not the representatives, are coming. But it is also a fact that Patna had witnessed a very high-profile visit by BRS leader, Mr. KCR, and in which and front against the BJP United Front was being talked about, and KCR is not there, YSRCP is not there, TDP is not likely to be there, the JDS not there, the BJP already in electoral talks with the JDS, the TDP and others. Akalis are also on the discussion table for the BJP. Now, in that scenario, this meeting does one very important element. One, that the Congress has won Karnataka. It is more buoyant. In fact, it wanted to have the meeting at a venue decided by it, but then I think wiser sense prevailed and effort to show that all are united led the meeting to Bihar, where definitely Nitish Kumar's effort to unite the opposition are being backed up. One important element, Rahul Gandhi till date is not a prime ministerial player. Does that create problems, or does that each situation? One will have to really wait and see. Beyond that, I think there is one line which I would like to say is that right now the opposition has lot to unite against. Narendra Modi, BJP, and whatever has been happening over the last few years. But they have very little to unite for. And that unite for needs to be fine. I think the leadership issue may come later. Right now, they are coming together, a good element, but there are a lot of contradictions to be covered. How KC Tyagi, in fact, the JD leader said something, I think the most critical line. He said that the unity effort will depend on how much sacrifice everybody is ready to make as far as the grand coalition is concerned. Because if you look at it, CPM versus Congress together in Bengal, Kerala, against each other in Kerala, together in Bengal, Samajwadi Party versus Congress, Kejriwal versus Congress, Punjab, Delhi and other units are protesting against any kind of coming together. Right now, Arvind Kejriwal wants to be part of an opposition spectrum because he needs the support for the ordinance in parliament, which the BJP government will be bringing in. Similarly, you will have, will Kejriwal break, and soon Kejriwal will be breaking ranks from the opposition as far as the Rajasthan and the Madhya Pradesh elections are concerned. And
leave alone Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan, Rahul. In 2 days from now, Arvind Kejriwal is going to be taking on the Congress in his Tiranga Yatra in Jind, Haryana.
Yes. So you can see that these are kind of breaking of the ranks. And these are not ordinary elections, Preeti. These are not ordinary moves because they're coming so close to the Lok Sabha elections. Simultaneously, at a time when the opposition is trying to unite, you will have examples of a divide. And that is why I think a lot needs to be settled. And remember, Rahul Gandhi may not be in contention right now, but in the US, if you remember what Sam Pitroda said, that Rahul Gandhi is the leader India needs. That means the prime ministerial intent is there. How these issues are settled will decide which way the Gadi will go. In opposing the inauguration of the parliament building, there were 19-20 parties. Right now, there are 13 to 14. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Rahul, there. We're going to keep cutting across to him, where it comes down to how the contours of this opposition unity actually work out and how much depth is in there in this possible Gathbandhan. With that, shifting focus to the other developing story, and that is the Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar talking tough in Canada, on Canada. The sharp reaction comes after a video emerged on social media showing a float mocking the assassination of Indira Gandhi by her Sikh bodyguards. The float was reportedly part of a 5-kilometer-long parade taken out by Khalistani supporters in Canada's Brampton. The tableau has drawn sharp reactions. Here's a detailed report.
Before the 39th anniversary of Operation Blue Star, on June 4th, a city in Canada witnessed a vulgar celebration of the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1984. Unrestricted by Canadian authorities, the Khalistani supporters carried out a 5-kilometer-long parade in Brampton. The images are viral on social media. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has condemned Canada's tolerance of pro-Khalistan elements.
I think there's a bigger issue involved. We are at a loss to understand, other than the requirements of vote bank politics, why anybody would do this? Because if you look at their history, I mean, you would imagine that they learn by the history and they wouldn't like to repeat that history. I think there is a larger underlying issue about the space which is given to separatists, to extremists, to people who advocate violence. And I think it's not good for the relationship, and I think it's not good for Canada.
The Congress has urged the Narendra Modi government to take up the matter strongly with Canadian authorities.
आज इतने सालों के बाद ये दोबारा इस तरह से करना, तो ये सिर्फ कंडम करने की बात नहीं, लेकिन उसके साथ में ये है कि हम हमारी सरकार से अपील करेंगे कि वहाँ के गवर्नमेंट से बातचीत करें, वहाँ के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से बातचीत करें और इस तरीके के जो इवेंट्स हैं उसको कंडम भी करें, बंद भी करें और एक्शन भी.
The Indian High Commission in Ottawa has already sent a formal note to the Justin Trudeau government. Canadian High Commissioner to India Cameron McKay has tweeted he's appalled by the event that took place in Brampton. The envoy said there is no place for hate or glorification of violence in Canada. The fine words and sentiments apart, it is fact that Canada has tolerated Khalistani provocations against India for a long time. It is time now for the Canadian authorities to walk the talk. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, shifting focus to Maharashtra, the police probing the riots over Aurangzeb in Kolhapur. 4 SRPF company, 300 police constables and 60 officers deployed in Kolhapur after Wednesday's riots over a controversial status on Aurangzeb. Internet shut down till the midnight. 3 FIRs have been registered in connection with the objectionable status and subsequent violence. Kolhapur SP has ruled out outside involvement into the incident, says a total of 36 accused have been arrested so far out of the total 300 suspects. Meanwhile, Uddhav Sena has launched a scathing attack against the Shinde government, saying outsiders were brought in for rioting in Kolhapur. Says BJP, after failing to win polls using Bajrang Bali in Karnataka, was trying to bring in Aurangzeb to gain electorally. Meanwhile, NCP chief Sharad Pawar has urged political parties not to politicize the riots.
कोल्हापुर की जनता इस दंगल में शामिल नहीं है। मेरी जानकारी कोल्हापुर के बाहर से लोग लाए गए थे खराब करने। ये बार-बार इस राज्य में क्यों हो रहा है आपकी सरकार आने के बाद?
Every issues can be fanned up to be a communal issue, and there are forces of communal hatred active in this country in various parts. To find out issues and to make big social crises and clashes to divide the people. And what happened in Kolhapur is a part of that.
हम तो मुसलमानों के साथ है, मुसलमानों को सपोर्ट करते हैं। जो 10% आरक्षण जो हमने सवर्णों को दिया है उसमें मुसलमानों को भी मतलब उसका फायदा होता है। जो योजनाएं बनी है माननीय मोदी सरकार की उसका फायदा मुसलमानों को भी होता है। तो ऐसा झगड़ा लगाना ठीक नहीं है। इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि इसके पीछे पाकिस्तान का हाथ है क्या, इसी तरह की शंका मुझे है। तो इसीलिए मैं माननीय देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी जो हमारे डिप्टी सीएम है, होम मिनिस्टर है, उनके साथ मैं बात करने वाला हूँ और इसके पीछे पाकिस्तान का हाथ है क्या, इसकी जांच भी होनी चाहिए।
ये तो चीज़ें अनफॉर्चुनेटली कुछ लोगों ने पैदा की है, ये समाज के लिए ठीक नहीं। सभी वर्ग की हितों की रक्षा करनी हो तो इसलिए वो ठीक नहीं। आज जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है इसका जो रेपुटेशन है इसके लिए खुश नहीं, और जो आम जनता उसकी कीमत इन लोगों को देनी पड़ती है। ये आम जनता को बचाने के लिए ये जो कुछ हो रहा है ये ख़त्म बंद करना चाहिए। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की मशीनरी जो कदम उठाई गई है उसको योगदान देनी चाहिए, और शांति कैसे फ़ायदा होगी इस पर ध्यान देने की आज आवश्यकता है। इसमें राजनीति आज लाने की आवश्यकता नहीं, बाद में जांच होगी तब सच्चाई क्या है वो सबके सामने आएगी।
With that, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side is our fact check segment.
Where the software engineer meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the gifted content writer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
Maharashtra's Kolhapur on the boil. Hindu groups go on the rampage, vandalize shops and damaging vehicles. The violent protests were brought under control after the police lathi charged the ground.
पुलिस ने जो जमाव था उस पर अश्रुधुओं के नलकांडे देखिए डाले थे, अश्रुधुओं के बौछारे भी डाले थे, साथ ही लाठीचार्ज भारी मात्रा में यहाँ पर होते हुए नजर आया था।
The Hindu outfits were protesting a WhatsApp status put by 3 Muslim teenagers on Tuesday in praise of the 17th century Mughal ruler Aurangzeb, who had fought many battles with Maratha icon Chhatrapati Shivaji. The WhatsApp status hailed Aurangzeb as the true king. Earlier, posters of Aurangzeb were raised during a procession on Sunday in Ahmednagar. The police booked 4 people, including the city unit chief of Asaduddin Owaisi's party AIMIM, who organized the rally for allegedly inciting violence. The Maharashtra government has made it clear no forgiveness would be granted to anyone invoking the name of Aurangzeb.
मैं खुद पर्सनली अधिकारियों के साथ संपर्क में हूँ और कानून व्यवस्था बनाए रखने के लिए सभी लोगों ने सहयोग करने की आवश्यकता है, ऐसा आह्वान भी मैं करता हूँ। और राज्य में सभी लोग शांति से रहे, या राज्य में शांति रहे, अमन रहे, इसके लिए सभी लोगों ने सहयोग करने की आवश्यकता है।
महाराष्ट्र में अचानक कुछ जिलों में औरंगजेब की औलादें पैदा हुई है, जो औरंगजेब का फोटो दिखाते हैं, औरंगजेब का स्टेटस रखते हैं, और इसके कारण एक दुर्भावना समाज में पैदा हो रही है। कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे।
The opposition NCP has accused the Eknath Shinde government of failing to ensure law and order in the state.
होम मिनिस्ट्री के पास एक इंटेलिजेंस का रिपोर्ट आता है, तो इनका इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट इनको नहीं बताता क्या होने वाला है। इतने दंगे जब से इनकी सरकार आई है, दंगे ही हुए, इसके पहले इतने दंगे कभी नहीं हुए इस राज्य में। तो ऑब्वियसली ये फेलियर ऑफ होम मिनिस्ट्री है ना।
Aurangzeb, who expanded the Mughal territory nearly to the entirety of the Indian subcontinent, has become the latest political flashpoint in Maharashtra politics. The Mughal emperor, seen as a divisive figure, is accused of targeting Hindus during his rule. Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust news masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp group. There's a claim floating about suggesting a Muslim man sabotaged the Odisha train tragedy by a cylinder. The fact check on that, the sabotage video is from 2022 in Haldwani. Accused a Hindu, not Muslim, nothing to do with the Odisha train tragedy. With that fact check, time for me to go into a break. You do stay with us. On the other side is To The Point.
How has it been for small caps? Because a lot of small cap portfolios over the last 1 year have not done very well. Things have started improving now, but what's been your experience over the last year or two with small caps?
Udin, thank you very much for having me. First of all, I am very happy with this small and mid caps where I am investing. And what my experience is that index is still yet to touch a new high, or may have touched briefly. I don't know. I'm not tracking it. But the small and mid caps have risen 4 times and 5 times in last 2 years. So my experience has been very good. So I'm happy.
But tell me, small cap investing is never easy. I mean, some of these names that you mentioned, like Repro and Vaibhav, they don't give you rewards in the time frame often that you have in mind. You have to be very patient. How do you approach some of these names which do not actually start giving you returns in a 2-3 year time frame? Do you stay the course and wait for the story to play out, or do you cut some of them out of your portfolio? I mean, what is the balancing act between, for some of these names which are not quite multi-baggers soon after you buy them?
You see, Weber did reward me maybe 1 year after I bought. And Repro had also rewarded me. But finally, but due to COVID and all, their disruption got disrupted. So the stock price fell down. So that is okay, because as long as I said, that stay in the sunset industry, sunrise industry at any cost. Cost could be high and cost could be low. Stock may perform, stock may not perform. But as long as the story intact, as long as you believe that the sun is still rising, so it's okay. Sometimes sun is in the clouds, sometimes it is in the open. So this is stock market. You are never 100% right. Even if 50-60% is your, if you are right in this market, then this is enough for you.
What in your book is a sunset industry, Vijay? Let me ask you that. I mean, what kind of sectors or stocks do you stay out of? Because these days, all kinds of stocks have done well. Coal India, for example, which in many investors' eyes would qualify as a sunset industry, coal, or NTPC, or even tobacco like ITC, they have done well. What are the sectors that you stay away from?
You see, I have never bought all these companies like Coal India and like RAC and ITC. Of course, that was a bad choice, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. So so far, sunset industry is concerned. I will give you one example that I had bought this IT industry in 2019. Sorry, after COVID in 2020 and 21, 2 companies I had bought. So one was Intellect Design, another was an IIT. And I held on to them. They became multi-bagger also in 2 years' time. But after that, 1 year back, or maybe 1.5 years, I exited because I realized that maybe now the flavor in this theme is over. So that could be a sunset industry to me, only for these 2 shares. But there is exception to the rules also. Like Persistent is at all-time high, and Coforge or some others, not Coforge, some Scient and all these. There are 2-3 shares in the same sector which are at all-time high. So it depends. So what I will say, that if I find that the story in my company is over or plateaued or stagnant, maybe for a long time, maybe for 2-3 years, then I would like to exit. This is what I mean by sunset. Yeah.
Powered by The world comes together at Sharda University. Tata Altroz. OMG, it's the Altroz iCNG. Bajaj Allianz Life Diabetic Term Plan.
Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry. After about 42 days, there's been a thaw or a temporary truce when it comes down to the wrestlers versus centre standoff. What really has gone down is the wrestlers met the sports minister with 5 demands. The sports minister has said that he will look into it. One of the demands still is very clear, that Brij Bhushan Sharan, BJP MP, be arrested. Now, in the midst of this, what really has happened, viewers, is that the minor complainant, because there have been 7 of the wrestlers who have complained of sexual harassment against Brij Bhushan. The minor in question has now filed a new statement under section 164 of the IPC. Now, this statement, viewers, somewhere down the line, because it's not out in public view, the father has confirmed to India Today that this particular new statement doesn't have sexual assault as a charge. And this is a new statement, and the earlier statement was made because she was very angry, because there was bias against her, is what she felt, by the WFI, which now means that there is a new statement that does not have sexual offence or sexual harassment by the minor. Does POCSO still stand when it comes down to Brij Bhushan Sharan? What could be the legal implications of it? That's the big question. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take you through some of the contours of what could be the legal implications once the minor has retracted her statement in this case. 7 statements were given by 7 wrestlers of the Indian Wrestling Federation. One of them is a minor, and 2 FIRs were filed. Now let's take you through what happens if the minor retracts her statement. Now, has the minor retracted her statement? Because it's not for public, because she is a minor. The minor has recorded, as per the father who's spoken to us, a second statement before the magistrate, which is under section 164. The second statement recorded under section 164 of the CRPC. Now, the minor may have withdrawn the sexual harassment charge. This is something that her father has confirmed to us, that the sexual assault charge has been negated. More so, as per the procedure, the statement in a sexual offence case is kept sealed, so nobody really knows exactly what the new statement is. The statement kept sealed till the victim is examined during trial. The trial is yet to begin. The Delhi police is yet to even file a charge sheet. Now, what does the second statement mean? The victim can give more than one statements before a magistrate, and she has given another statement. The court may consider validity and veracity of different statements that have been given. In this case, 2 statements given by the minor against Brij Bhushan Sharan. Now, in case of inconsistencies, the court can look into the tutoring angle as well, because there have been 2 very contradictory statements that have been given. Now, the minor retracting her statement, what next is the big question. It is up to the police to file a charge sheet or not. Well, the wrestlers have been promised that by the 15th of this month, the charge sheet will be filed. If they file charge sheet, the court can look at veracity. Depends if the Delhi police files charge sheet. The government has told the wrestlers it will be 15th June. The wrestlers have given a deadline of 15th June. Now, if she's given a false statement, the COPSA court can file a case against her, because it's also hurting the reputation of the person involved, who is a BJP MP in this case. I want to cut across right now to my colleague Anisha, who's done a deep dive, gone through past precedents, what it could mean legally. Up next, if the statement has been not retracted but changed, is what the father tells us. Of course, nobody viewers. So you might be reading a lot of social media toolkit narrative trying to take apart the case of the minor and the wrestlers, seeming to suggest that nothing stands now, all the cases have fallen flat. Nothing like this, because number one, nobody is privy to the statement of this young girl, the minor in question. And having said that apart, still 6 women are standing by what their allegations are of sexual assault against Brij Bhushan Sharan. Anisha, will you break it down for us? You've done a deep dive. What could be the legal implications of maybe not retracting the statement, but definitely changing the statement this time, which negates sexual offences?
Well, Preeti, when you're looking at an issue like this, there are multiple aspects that one must consider. First of all, as you just said, we don't actually know what the minor has said in her statement. The contours of section 164 CRPC, as well as past precedents from the courts, allow a victim to record multiple statements, even if there are certain changes in the statements, record the first, second, third statements. It is for the court then to look into whether there are actual inconsistencies, or there are improvements, or there are simply additional details being added by the subsequent statements. So that is something that the court will do. But prior to the case even going before the court is the question of what is the police doing here. And here the huge responsibility lies essentially on the police investigation. The police can choose to go by whatever the statement the minor has given. The police is also required to look at the other evidence. There are 6 other women who've spoken out about this. More importantly, there are coaches, other persons. There could be other evidence, especially of if this girl had ever given an oral or written complaint to someone else. As the most important point to remember at this stage for us and for the viewers is that everything in this matter has so far been kept in sealed cover. We don't know what she said, we don't know what other people have said, and effectively it is for the police to complete its investigation and then file a report to the court, whether they file a charge sheet or a closure report, or even if this girl has actually said something false, whether they want to initiate a complaint against her for false information. That all of that is currently up in the air, but of course as a victim it is perfectly within her rights to give a second or even a third statement.
Anisha, stay with me. I want to introduce right now on the show Asha Devi. She's the mother of Nirbhaya. I have Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, Amitabh Sinha, Advocate, Supreme Court. आशा देवी जी, बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप हमसे जुड़े. बहुत चीज़ें चल रही हैं आशा जी. 40 के ऊपर दिन हो गए. इस बार जो दूसरा राउंड ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट रहा है इन रेसलर्स का, उनमें से जो 7 लड़कियां हैं, एक माइनर है, पॉक्सो का केस लगा है, और अब लगता है कि जो माइनर लड़की है उसने अपना स्टेटमेंट बदल दिया है. पर इसको आप किस नज़रिए से देखती हैं आशा देवी जी? क्योंकि ये रेसलर्स हैं, जस्टिस की मांग हो रही है, एक तबका वो भी है जो कह रहा है ये पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड है. किस नज़रिए से देखती हैं?
देखिए, मैं तो यही कहना चाहूंगी कि ये हम बच्चियों के अधिकार की बात करते हैं, बच्चियों के उनको आगे बढ़ने की बात करते हैं, तो जिस तरह से ये बच्चियां प्रदर्शन कर रही है, धरने पे बैठी हैं, तो कोई अपना सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के अपनी इज्जत दाव पर लगा के प्रदर्शन पे तो ऐसे नहीं बैठेगा. तो मैं तो यही कहना चाहूंगी कि जांच होनी चाहिए और बच्चियों को इंसाफ जरूर मिलना चाहिए. और बच्ची डर से कैसे उसने अपना बयान वापस ले लिया, दबाव में ले लिया, तो इसकी भी जांच होनी चाहिए. और पॉलिटिक्स तो हर चीज में हो रही है, क्योंकि पॉलिटिक्स होने से ही बच्चियों के साथ जो क्राइम हो रहा है, और भी क्राइम हुए हैं, चाहे ये लोग भी बैठे हैं, मुद्दा भटक जाता है. तो मैं तो यही कहना चाहूंगी कि चाहे पॉलिटिक्स हो, चाहे जो कुछ भी हो, लेकिन जिस तरह से बच्चियां रोड पे बैठी हैं, जिस तरह से उनके साथ कई वीडियो हमने भी देखा है कैसे पुलिस का रवैया रहा है, तो ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है. बच्चियों के साथ ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर आपने कुछ नहीं किया है, जो भी इसमें मुजरिम है या जो भी हैं, अगर वो कुछ नहीं किए हैं तो पूरी तरह से जांच होनी चाहिए. और जब तक जांच नहीं होती है, जब तक इस पे कोई कोर्ट का फैसला नहीं आता है, तब तक उनको अपने पद से इस्तीफा देना चाहिए.
आशा देवी जी, मैं आपके पास अभी वापस आऊंगी. आई वांट टू जस्ट ब्रिंग इन संजय हेगड़े इनटू दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन. संजय हेगड़े, would you simplify it for us? I want to ask you a question. Let's say instead of a closure report, let's just say that the Delhi police goes ahead and files the charge sheet. The sheer fact that the Delhi police did not think that it was apt to arrest the man in question, Brij Bhushan Sharan, during investigation, can the court turn around and say, if you didn't feel the need to arrest him during investigation, why after the charge sheet?
No, that's not what the court will say. If there is a charge sheet, the court will proceed. The crucial question is, what is it that the charge sheet will reveal? Will the charge sheet reveal any offence under POCSO, or will it reveal only ordinary offences under the IPC? It depends on whether the investigator finds the victim's first statement credible or the second statement credible, or they discards the victim's testimony altogether and says that you can't lend any credence and there is nothing else to corroborate that allegation, therefore we are dropping POCSO altogether. So a charge sheet may very well be filed. The crucial question is, what are the sections that are alleged against the accused?
What if POCSO, the case for POCSO is not made in the charge sheet because of retraction of statement, sir?
Even if there is a retraction of the statement, as the trial goes on, assuming that there is a trial, then if there is evidence which comes on record, which then substantiates the need to frame the charge again or to alter the charge, the court has the power to do it. So let's assume that the victim has said one thing in statement A, said a second thing in statement B, and then in her evidence in court, she says something else, which then attracts a POCSO charge. Even then, the court can then alter the charge and proceed.
All right, stay with us. Amitabh Sinha, Advocate Supreme Court, is also with us. Mr. Sinha, you don't concur with the fact that, with what Mr. Hegde said, you would think that by a retraction of statement, I would reckon, it would water down the case where the wrestlers are concerned, especially if the matter comes to a charge sheet in court?
My opinion about what my learned friend Mr. Sanjay Hegde has said, it's technically very correct. There is no doubt about that. What he said is absolutely right. But my point is, this is, the aspect that the merit of the case. See, the merit of the case becomes very important when the charges are to be considered. And charge sheet, as it's by its name itself, the charge sheet means the charges which were, imposed upon or on the accused. See, in this case, POSCO, as per my observation, what is happening today, POSCO is out of question. Number one, because in a very largely circulated national daily also, this report has been published, and I also have certain information that that girl is not a minor, as per the school records of Rohtak school, something. And a very reputed national daily also has published in a very clear manner. So, when this is the fact, then POSCO is out of question, and because POSCO is out of question,
Mr. Sinha, where does, I would reckon if a minor who is complained has lodged a statement in front of a magistrate, I would reckon it would only be the girl and the magistrate who would be in the know of what that statement is. So how is it that you are in the know of that statement, sir?
May I complete first?
Please, sir.
Let me have some time to explain what exactly is my observation and my perception. See, as per the rule of law, what the most important thing is that the charges must be substantiated. Then only the charge sheet should be filed against any accused. If the charges cannot be substantiated, whether it is under 164 also, the police has to find whether the charges are appropriate or not. That is why the investigation, role of investigation is there, role of investigating officer is there. So, I think because of that investigation only, it has come to the fact in front of the investigating officer that the so-called the POSCO Act is not applicable because just a minute, because POSCO Act is directly related to a minor, and that girl is not a minor.
Who says that girl is not a minor, sir? How are you so sure that she's not a minor? Nobody knows. Who are on basis of what are you telling us?
Why you are shouting? I am telling you the fact. So
how is it a fact is my question to you, Mr. Sinha.
Don't shout. Don't shout, Preeti. Don't shout.
Sir, my question is very simple. On what facts are you basing? 1 second, hear my question, Mr. Sinha.
Wait, I have told you. You were not listening to me. What I told you?
No, I'm not understanding. On what? No, sir. I will ask you one straight question. On what basis, what facts are you quoting that you seem to suggest that the girl is not a minor?
Yes. I am telling you. What exactly has happened, most of the thing is coming in the media only. So through the reports.
Are you, these are facts. You're quoting, most of this are coming in media, therefore you're quoting
If you will not, after your question, I have understood your question. So let me reply to your question first. Have patience. Have patience.
Sir, it's a 20 minutes show. Please make your point. What's the fact?
Doesn't matter. I have already told you.
You have said she's not a minor.
You are compelling me to repeat my point. I have already told you that the largest circulating national daily has published in a very clear manner.
Please, the sheer fact that you're an advocate in the Supreme Court and you're quoting random media reports to say it's a fact she's not a minor because it's not in public domain. She's not a minor. Neither the Delhi police, neither the IO, neither the Delhi police, neither the IO, nobody has stated that the girl is not a minor.
You are also a random media channel. Why you are saying that girl is a minor?
We are saying we don't know. We are saying we don't know.
No.
Why
you are saying that
POSCO Act is applicable? One doesn't understand
why
that.
You are saying that POSCO Act is applicable? No. You are also going through the media.
So we are saying that is the basis of discussion. I'm sorry, I don't think you understood the debate.
I am telling you, POSCO Act only is related to
Mr. Sanjay Hegde, you want to make a point? Please come in.
Please, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Sinha's point seems to be that there is a document.
All right, we seem to have lost Sanjay Hegde. I want to connect right now. I have, let's cut across to Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi ji, who's still with us. Asha Devi ji, देखिए इसमें अब बात ऐसी भी आ रही है क्योंकि बोला जाता है कि मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स बोल रही हैं कि वो लड़की नाबालिग भी नहीं है, बालिग है, और एक नैरेटिव स्पिन भी करा जा रहा है। आशा देवी जी, इसमें आपको लगता है कि जो दिल्ली पुलिस की टीम थी, अरेस्ट क्यों होता है कोई जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन होती है? एक इसीलिए अरेस्ट होता है क्योंकि वो इतनी पोजीशन ऑफ पावर में होता है कि वो केस को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है। आपको लगता है इस मामले में अरेस्ट होना चाहिए था?
जी, अगर वो बच्ची जो चार्जशीट में वो बच्ची का वो जो चार्जशीट लगी है, अगर उसके साथ गलत हुआ है तो अरेस्ट होना चाहिए था। क्योंकि देखिए, दिल्ली पुलिस की बात कर रहे हैं तो पुलिस की जांच के वजह से पुलिस जांच शुरू में ठीक से नहीं करती है, इस वजह से कई मुजरिम छूट जाते हैं। दिल्ली में हम लोगों ने कई केस को देखा है। आज कोर्ट ने कहा है कि पुलिस ने जांच ठीक नहीं किया, इसलिए मुजरिमों को बेनिफिट मिल जाता है, वो छूट जाते हैं। अभी इसी साल में का सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पुलिस का हवाला देके छोड़ दिया, तो कई केसों में पुलिस का हवाला देके मुजरिम को फायदा हो जाता है। तो हम यही चाहेंगे कि वो उस केस में बच्ची क्यों बयान बदली अपना, चार्जशीट में अगर पॉक्सो लगा है तो बच्ची क्यों अपना केस वापस ली, क्यों अपना बयान बदली, इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए। क्योंकि पुलिस के लापरवाही से, पुलिस के ठीक से जांच ना करने की वजह से बच्ची को इंसाफ ना मिले, इसलिए जो भी इसमें मुजरिम है या जो भी कोई है उनको गिरफ्तार होना चाहिए और ठीक से जांच हो कि बच्ची को इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए। बच्ची किस वजह से बयान बदली है, इस पे जरूर जांच होना चाहिए।
आप हमारे साथ बने रहिए। अनिशा जी, अनिशा, I want to bring you in because what are the facts? The fact that the girl is a minor, not a minor, nobody really knows that because the Delhi police hasn't said anything on that.
Well, that's exactly the point I wanted to make, Preeti, because at this stage, when the investigation is ongoing, first of all, we as a country and the viewers need to understand that what is a fact and what is a provable fact in court are very different things. Whether a girl is a minor, is not a minor, will have to depend on the documentation that the police brings before the court. Now, we at this stage do not know what are the documents that the police is looking at. We don't know what her birth certificate says, we don't know what her school leaving certificate says, and we certainly don't know what her class 10 certificate says. Ultimately, what the age of birth that is given in the class 10 certificate, that is taken as the first proof. If that is not there, then the school entrance, the register at the time somebody enters school, that is taken. At this stage, nobody knows what is in those papers. So whether or not a POCSO case will apply or not depends entirely on that document. And if I may just take 10 more seconds. If the document says that she is a minor, and in the first statement she has raised an allegation that brings in sexual offences, and then later she takes it back, then the police and the court will have to then look at it as a POCSO case. They will have to look at it from the perspective of a minor possibly being coerced or threatened or pressured, or something out of court has happened. And we've seen multiple cases where the courts have said that just because there was an out-of-court settlement does not mean that the other corroborative evidence is not there. A lot depends on what actually is the paper that comes before the court.
And nobody quite knows that. So therefore, Mr. Sinha, I'm going to come back to you. First, let me bring in Mr. Sanjay Hegde. Who knows what the document says? Because the Delhi police hasn't made the document public. And it's a, whatever the investigation has been. Sanjay Hegde, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead, sir.
No, the point was about the document. We don't know what the document says. and we cannot just go by inspired leaks to various media houses and newspapers. If the document says that she was a minor and she sticks and in court to her statement that she was sexually abused, then notwithstanding anything else, a POCSO case will be made out.
But Mr. Hegde, the question that I want to ask you, because one thing is clear, something that her father has confirmed to us, that the sexual offences or assault, that fact, that statement has been changed and says there is no sexual assault in the new statement. What does the legal implication of that mean going ahead?
There would be the earlier statement, there would be whatever turns up in the investigation, and the fact that a trial happens does not mean that a man is guilty or not guilty. Everything would have to be taken into account. Both her 164 statements would be available both to the prosecution as well as the defense to contradict her, to contradict whatever she says in court. So, this entire case reminds me of a much earlier case. We had the Zahira Habibullah Sheikh case in the Best Bakery. The girl saw the event, she denied it in court. Thereafter, she came out with a statement that she had actually seen the event. The Supreme Court then transferred the trial, and then again the girl changed her mind in court. So ultimately, what is it that she will say in court? Everything turns on that.
And if she says she wasn't sexually assaulted, then, sir?
Then there is no case for POCSO. He might get an acquittal. Right
in
now,
POCSO,
what we are
POCSO, but there are other 6 women who have... Right.
Yes. Those are other offences.
Those other 6 complainants, are those grave charges enough for the man in question to go to jail?
Yes, absolutely. Even if it is under 354, there is a possibility of a jail sentence.
Okay. Mr. Sinha, please do come back into the conversation, because the facts that you are quoting are not facts, sir, is all our humble submission was. Go ahead, sir.
See, when a person, the prosecution can figure out that whether the charges are reliable or not. Mr. Hegde is saying very correctly that if the charges are not maintainable, then the charge sheet will not be filed, or even if the charge sheet is filed, then it will not be maintainable in front of the court. Number one. So if the girl is a minor, then the court may take a different opinion, and then they say that no, that second 164 also is not reliable. So give another statement, so that the atmosphere should be very fair, and then she should be asked, because that girl is a minor. Number one. Number two, about other 6 charges. See, the substantiation is the must thing. That's why Delhi police is taking so much time. Their charges must be corroborated, that their charges are true or not. So the role of investigation is that. And because this time has taken, I don't know what exactly the investigation report is leading towards. And if the charges are not maintainable, or they can't be corroborated, then the case either will be dropped, or it will be a very weak charge sheet which can immediately be quashed. So this is my firm legal opinion. Then when the case cannot be corroborated, the charges cannot be corroborated, then accused will certainly be given benefit of the doubt.
Okay. आशा देवी जी, आप जैसे भी ये पूरा केस चला है, क्योंकि इसमें तो हमारे जो पहलवान हैं वो भी जुड़े हुए हैं, मैसेज क्या जा रहा है आशा देवी जी?
देखिए, मैसेज बहुत गलत जा रहा है कि 40 दिन कम नहीं होते, बच्चियां दोबारा रोड पे बैठी हैं, दोबारा प्रदर्शन पे बैठी हैं, तो इसका मैसेज गलत जा रहा है कि जो बच्चियां देश विदेश से गोल्ड मेडल जीत के आई हैं, उनका अगर ये हाल है, तो हमारे गांव में, हमारे शहरों में, हमारे नॉर्मल बच्चियों के साथ, महिलाओं के साथ जो क्राइम हो रहा है, तो उनका क्या होगा? तो ये गलत संदेश जा रहा है। अभी मैं सुन रही थी कि माइनर नहीं है या माइनर है, तो कोर्ट का अभी फैसला नहीं आया है, तो उसका जांच होनी चाहिए कि वाकई में वो बालिग है या नाबालिग है, तब डिसीजन होना चाहिए कि नहीं पॉक्सो एक्ट,
वही जांच चल रही है,
तो जांच हो जानी चाहिए, क्योंकि जांच ठीक से ना हो, पुलिस ठीक से काम ना करे और बच्ची को एक इंसाफ ना मिले, तो ये हमारे कहीं ना कहीं हमारे कानून पे एक कलंक होता है कि बच्चियों को इंसाफ नहीं मिलता है।
जी, all right, let's end it at that. I'd like to end it at that. Appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you. Well, I'm glad we all agree on that. Appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you there. Up next is Rahul Kanwal with News Track.
Elon Musk's Tesla has agreed to the Indian government's demand to set up a vendor base in India. Currently, more than half of Tesla's global production takes place in China. My colleague Chetan Bhutani joining us on the story. Chetan, does it mean Tesla is a step closer to shifting part of its business out of China and into India? And by when could we see this happen?
Well, that's right. Elon Musk's Tesla could soon make in India for the world, as top sources in the government have confirmed to Business Today TV that the company has in principle agreed to start manufacturing in India. In fact, no formal proposal has been signed as of now, but yes, by the way of mutual understanding, the company has given a green light to the government's, in fact, mutual persuasion that happened last month. Sources have also confirmed to Business Today TV that Tesla will set up a vendor place in India. But however, the government is of the opinion that the company should probably start manufacturing and, in fact, assembling electric cars in India, and then probably move on to set up a vendor base. In fact, last month, the officials of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Department of Heavy Industries, the Prime Minister's office, they all met Tesla officials just to take a rain check at how India is serious about this electric vehicle revolution in India, and how the country in fact wants to go out. So in fact, my sources have also told me that the government in fact could sweeten the production linked incentive scheme 2.0 that would be coming up to ensure Tesla also gets some benefits. In fact, it has now in fact said that they are not anymore seeking demand for an import duty cut. But in fact, you should remember that owing to different geopolitical situations in China, the company has more than half of its production.
Chetan, will Tesla get concessions from the Indian government for setting up a base here?
The government is of the opinion that if Tesla does something and starts manufacturing, not out of the way, not a green carpet would be rolled out for Tesla, but yes, the government is looking at a production-linked incentive scheme specifically for electric vehicles and its components, because the FAME scheme is almost coming to an end, and various factors have contributed towards its ending. But yes, a PLI 2.0 is in the works, which probably could benefit Tesla.
Not the Maharaja, Indigo is still the undisputed king of Indian skies. And the airline, with the ubiquitous blue livery, is ensuring it holds onto its crown. Indigo is reportedly spooling its engines to launch a 500 aircraft order. It would make it the biggest order till date from India, larger than the 470 aircraft ordered by Air India earlier this year. Indigo is eyeing 500 single-aisle Airbus A320 family aircraft with a sticker price of more than $50 billion. The final price, according to analysts, could be nearly half if discounts for bulk deals are included. Indigo is also planning on buying 25 wide-body aircraft, for which Airbus and Boeing are still in contention with their A330 Neo and 787 models. Indigo is already one of the largest Airbus customers, operating 308 Airbus-made aircraft. Nearly 500 aircraft are still to be delivered. There are fears that the two huge aircraft orders by Indigo and Air India could skew the demand-supply dynamics in the Indian markets. Indian carriers now have the second largest order book for aircraft, behind only the United States. The past few months have seen air traffic rise to zoom past pre-COVID levels as travellers return with a vengeance. Indigo had a market share of nearly 58% in April, with Vistara and Air India at a distant second and third positions. Go First, which went under last month, also had a decent 6% market share. With the Wadia Group-owned Go First grounded, Indian skies are running short of aircraft, pushing up airfares into stratosphere. There could be some relief for flyers in the future with these additions to aircraft fleet, both on domestic and international routes. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Powered by NECC, Sunday Hoya Monday, Rose Khaw Monday.